Matthew 11:30 tells us that God wants us to take on his yoke, which is easy, and his burdens, which are light. Now, at face value, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to take on more than what we already have. So what is he actually saying? Well, if you think about a yoke was a contraption thing that they used to use with a pair of oxen. It had sort of the shape of the top part of a heart, and you slotted the oxen each under one of those grooves, and together they got the job done. So they had to then walk in the same direction. They had to do the same work. They had to be aligned in what they were doing. The purpose was the same. You couldn't have one going one direction and the other in the other direction, because not only would the job not get done, but it would cause a lot of pain, because now you've got this yoke on you that is holding you in one direction and you're trying to pull away, and that would just cause hurt and pain. But now to bring it back to what God is asking us to do. God is asking us to share his yoke, because he's on the one side and he's asking us to align ourselves on the other, to put ourselves under the light side, because he's promised to do the heavy lifting. So the bulk of what needs to be carried, he's already doing. He was prepared to do for us. And he's asking us to come alongside him. He's saying, why do you want to carry things on your own? But in order for that to be the case, he's asking us to let go of our own things. We know we are stubborn. We like to think that we are clever and we can, but we need to let go of our own things. We need to let go of our preconceived ideas. We need to let go of our will, our pride, our determination, and we actually need to surrender ourselves to him. And we need to trust that he knows best and come alongside him. Align ourselves with his purposes, with his will, with his direction. And as soon as we do that, suddenly the weight is lifted off. There's a small portion of weight that we actually still have to carry, because Jesus is doing the heavy lifting. His side of the yoke is heavy. Ours is light when we align ourselves with him. And so our burdens, which are often, very often, our own causing, because we're so determined to do things on our own and our own way, they start disappearing. And the burdens and the load that we now carry are Christ's ones. And he's already carrying the bulk of that. And we can be sure, if he's carrying the bulk, that whatever the enemy is trying to throw at us, the weight that he's trying to drown us with, is already being buffeted by Christ. And so to align ourselves with Christ, to walk in his way, also means to be in line with working with him, alongside him, to relieve the suffering of those around us as well. That's Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first. And so when we do that, Christ takes care of the rest. He says, I know what you need. I know that you need this. I know that you need that. I'll sort that out. Will you just walk with me? Will you trust me enough to walk alongside me? Let go of the things that you think you need. Let go of the plans that you think are going to get you to where you need to be. Trust me. I've got this. I know the direction. And I'll carry the load. Your yoke can be easy. So today, I guess the question we need to ask ourselves is, do we still want to carry on our own? Or do we want to let go? Do we want to align ourselves with Christ, walk next to him, and just trust his yoke is easy and his burdens are light, because he does the heavy lifting?